Hello there, welcome or welcome back to Pin Cut Sew. My name is Nikki. I have a lot of, bumped my microphone first thing. I have a lot of new subscribers around here, so I want to thank you for that. Thank you for all the really nice comments y'all have been leaving me. I am very thankful that I don't get very many mean comments. They're almost 99.9% so nice and positive, and I'm just really thankful for all of them and that you're here and that you're watching. So today's video, recently I made a video with some new sewing tools that I had gotten, and I was pretty surprised by how many people did not know what this tool is for until I told them about it. And then I had some people say, I have one of those, I didn't know what it was, and now I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to attach it to my machine, etc. So I'm going to answer those questions today about the walking foot. This is a tool I have always had and always used a ton. The reason it's new right now is because this one is specifically made for my new Janome sewing machine. So I did explain this and a little bit explain it and more tools in my more recent video about 4 sewing tools that I got. I'll link you to that. But today I'm going to show you how to attach this, what it's for, and why you need one. There's one very simple mistake people make when attaching it, and it has to do with this lever right here. So let's get started. Okay, so like I said, this is called a walking foot. You can order one for absolutely any sewing machine because they make universal ones that fit most machines. You really just will have to know if your machine is a high shank or a low shank. And something I failed to mention in my last video is that some brands of machines, specifically Pfaff, P-F-A-F-F, some people say Pfaff, I don't know. They come with one of these built in. It's called a it's called IDT. I can't remember what that stands for. I had always been a Pfaff user until I got this new machine. My Pfaffs were older and even they had the built-in. And now I believe some Berninas also have it built in. Some Janomes also do, but mine doesn't. So I bought the one specifically that comes with, or that goes with my machine. Because it was a more expensive machine, I went ahead and got the more expensive foot that goes with it. But you can get one for pretty inexpensively. When I was teaching sewing, I got some for my Brother machines that my students use for, I think they were like $13. So I'll link you to some universal ones. The reason you need one is because if you've ever been sewing on something with a lot of layers or a lot of thickness, and you find that the layers are bunching up, the top one is bunching under your presser foot, and things aren't just moving through the machine evenly, that's what this is for. So you have feed dogs under your foot that move the bottom fabric along. This provides feed dogs on top that move the top fabric along too. So I'm going to show you on my machine how I attach this, but first I made this little fake quilt sandwich, and I'm going to show you why you don't want to just quilt on your normal foot, and then I'll show you how to attach this, and I'll show you the difference it makes quilting it with this instead. Other reasons you might need a walking foot, even if you're not a quilter, if you sew anything like bags and pouches that have batting in it or fusible fleece, or just anything with layers and thicknesses that you're having a hard time sewing, walking foot is the secret. Another good use is when sewing knit fabrics, because you know how they can be so shifty and bunchy. This will help you with stretch fabrics too. Okay? Okay, I have angled my camera and my machine so that hopefully you can see this really well. So I'm just going to sew a row on this quilt sandwich without attaching my walking foot. And you'll be able to see what happens here. As I'm sewing it, you can see the top layer of my fabric is getting pushed forward. And the more I sew it, the more forward it gets pushed. So you can already see here what's going to happen is that I'm going to start getting these drag lines, especially if I put it back in and go the opposite direction like you would do if you were quilting lines. Because now this layer of fabric, or this seam, is pushing the fabric the other direction. So what I've created here is going to start making these drag lines. You can see diagonal lines here, that are going to be spread all the way across my quilt project if I just keep going. Also, look how puckery the back looks. It's really not what you want. So to attach my walking foot, I'm going to go ahead and remove my entire presser foot contraption. not just the clip-on foot part. I want to remove the entire thing with the screw back here. I'm going to put this foot on instead. Now the problem I believe most people are having is that they are not putting this lever where it belongs. So the people who said, I can't figure out how to attach it, this is probably my best guess as to what's going on. When you put the walking foot on, you put it around the shank like so, but this little lever needs to go on top of the screw that holds in your needle. If you put it below, not only will your walking foot not function properly, you might also break your walking foot. I learned that from experience when I was newer at quilting, when I was young. I broke one. And so that's the reason why. If yours is not functioning, make sure you have this lever pushed up above your needle screw, your needle screw. Okay, so now let me sew some lines next to these, and you'll see how I do not get the push forward of the fabric that I was getting before. See how it's totally smooth on the top, even if I'm barely holding it. There we go. There's a beautiful line. No more diagonal drag lines. No more puckering on the back. It's perfectly smooth and straight. Another person said she didn't think you could back stitch with a walking foot, so she was wondering how you tie off your ends, but I actually back stitch with a walking foot with no problem. And this is something I've done with every walking foot, even on my less expensive machines, so definitely back stitching is a go. That's no problem at all. Okay, there's my second line. I have none of those nasty drag lines between these rows. They're beautiful. Okay, another great perk is that instead of marking 1-inch lines, say, if you're doing 1-inch lines on your quilt project, they usually come with this seam guide that can snap in, and then it can be adjusted to whatever seam length or distance between lines that you're wanting. So then you can just use it as a guide. It can be attached this side or on this side, whichever. So once you measure it where you want it to be, you just run this guide along your previous row of stitching so that you can have perfectly spaced quilting lines. There are my lovely, beautiful quilting lines, no puckers. So if you have struggled with getting bunches and puckers in your projects and you're sewing a lot of layers, definitely try a walking foot. It might solve all of your problems. Or if you're having problems with knits, especially if you're getting skipped stitches, first change your needle to a ballpoint needle, and then try a walking foot. If you're having trouble with bubbled hems on knit hem lines, try a walking foot. If you're making pouches with lots of layers or trying to get over big humps in your project, try a walking foot. I'll definitely link to a universal one or two below, but also if you want to get the one that goes with your machine specifically, I bought mine from sewingmachinepartsonline.com, so I will link that too. It was a great service to work with. I'm not sponsored or anything by them. I am not an affiliate. I just appreciate the business. So I hope that helps you. If you have other tips for walking feet, foots, other good uses for them or questions about them, please drop those in the comments below so we can all benefit and we can all respond and discuss. And I'll see y'all later. Bye. Oh, yes, I did get a haircut. I hope you all still recognized me. I was a little bit worried that in my thumbnail last week's video, no one would know that it was me, but it is me. I just got a couple of hairs cut. Just kidding, it was a lot of hair. Fresh start. Thanks for the nice comments I got about it though last week. Bye.